Good morning! My name is Paige. Welcome to my channel. I thought it would be really fun to do a 24-hour readathon. It is the start of my spring break. It is Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, and I thought it would be pretty fun to just try and read as many books from my TBR as I possibly can and try and get a lot off of my TBR at the start of spring break so that the rest of spring break I don't have to worry about not keeping up with my Goodreads goal. Why is Goodreads so rude? I feel like I finish a book in a week and then within an hour it's like, oh, you're one book behind schedule already. So I want to get ahead of Goodreads, and I do need to get some books off my TBR that have been sitting there for a really long time. I think I'm up to around 90 books on my TBR, so I need to do something about this. So I thought 24-hour readathon would be good. I was going to grab all of the shortest books that I could, plus some of the books that are on my March TBR. If you want to watch that, it will be right here. But I'm just going to show you the books and I'm going to get started on reading. So sometimes I like to make plans even though I know I'm probably not going to follow them. So I did make a plan of how I want to break down this day. I looked at all of the audiobook hours, figured out about how long it would take me to read them if I read them all at 2 times or 3 times speed. And I put them in priority because I know Scribd will eventually not let me listen to any more audiobooks. So I think I have about 3 audiobooks I can get through on Scribd before it tells me can't do it anymore. So I have a priority order. I'm hoping that I can get through most of them through audiobook, and that way I can knock them out pretty quickly, because if I read along with an audiobook I can read it much faster if I do 2 or 3 times speed. If I try and just listen to the audiobook at that speed, I hear nothing. So this is what I'm thinking my day will look like. I'm going to start off with Felix Ever After because I've already started it before. I didn't dislike it, but I just wasn't in the mood to be reading it at that time. So I'm going to start with this one. So then I want to make sure that I can listen to this through audiobook because I know Elizabeth Acevedo narrates this one and she's the writer of it too. So I just want to hear how she meant for it to be read. And so this will be second on my list, and it's pretty short. So after reading a full novel, going to a story written in prose might be a little bit easier. I don't know. Maybe I won't be so tired. Who knows? We'll see. And then I would like to get to Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and I'm thinking that this would probably be the last one that Scribd would let me use because those are all pretty popular titles, and then it'll take them all away. So at least I would get 2 of my March TBR picks off. And then after finishing that novel, we're gonna go to the graphic novel Through the Woods. I know it's more like Halloween, scary, spooky, but I felt like something short would be a nice thing to break up my day through. I don't know. I feel like this might take me a while though. It's kind of heavy. So I don't know if that means that there's a lot of pages or a lot of stories in it, but we will see. After that, I thought I would try and get You Should See Me in a Crown off of my TBR if Scribd lets me. I don't think I want to read this by itself. I think I kind of want to do it 2 or 3 times speed on Scribd just because I predict I'm not going to like this one. So this is towards the end of my list, end of the day. I might DNF this one. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm vibing with this one, and I haven't really wanted to pick it up since I bought it. So I don't know. I just don't want to read high school contemporary. Is that mean? Then I thought I would try and read The Governess Game and then The Wallflower Wager back to back. If I read these on my own, it's probably going to take me quite a while. So these might be one of the last few things I read. So that's why I'm putting it towards the end of the day. If I don't finish this one, I can always carry it through the rest of spring break. It's not like it's super hard to read. We will see if I can even get this far into my list. And then I figured if I'm in crunch time, wake up in the morning, have a little bit of extra time before 9 o'clock tomorrow, I can try and read this in the morning so that I can get 1 more book off of my list. So this is going to be my TBR for the day, and we will see how far I get. I will check in periodically if I remember. I need to get reading.
I never knew, and then one day it's down, and my wife Mackesy pushed past, and I was crying, and goes, I'm gay. He already known for years, but didn't say anything because he was so afraid of what we would think.
All right, it is 10:30 now, and I'm about halfway through or so, a little less than halfway, and I don't like this very much. I don't hate it, but I'm kind of not a fan of Felix as a character. I feel like he is very judgmental and he's very entitled. I don't know. He's just not a character that I would ever want to be friends with. I just don't like how he's always jumping to conclusions, assuming that he's right, and just a very jealous person. And I'm struggling to empathize with a lot of the things that he is going through. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but I am reading it very quickly, so I think I'll be done within another hour, hour and a half or so, and then we can move on to the next book. But right now, I need to get dinner in the crock pot, and I need to get myself some coffee and maybe a snack because I am feeling very sleepy and I'm hungry. So I walked into my kitchen so I could put things in the crock pot and make myself my snack, and I thought my grandpa was gone so that I wouldn't have to be embarrassed about filming myself, but he was still here, and then he wanted to watch me put things in the crock pot just in case we like this recipe so he can make it himself. And then I made my version of a peppermint mocha. My best friends make fun of me because I put in almond milk and I put in creamer, but the creamer's for the peppermint mocha flavor, so whatever, I don't really care. I don't really like the taste of coffee, so the way I make it, I like it, even if it's not the correct way to drink coffee. Okay, I just finished and I liked the second half better. I don't think I really ever fully felt like I connected to Felix, but there were some parts of his story that I did like, and I was getting really nervous on how it was going to end, but I like how it ended. I felt like it was really good, and I think that this is a good story for people who are in high school or college, really, and just I think that's a really good age range for people who want to read this. I didn't love some of the younger drama and stuff that happened and how all of the characters started to jump to conclusions a lot, so I felt like I was a little bit too grown up for some parts of it, but I do think it has really good messages in this one, and I did like how it ended. It was pretty cute. I don't know if I think I'm like 3.5 to 4 on this one. It was written really well, but I just personally didn't love Felix as a character, but there were parts of Felix's personality that I could relate to. So it is 12:40 and I need to order myself lunch because I don't want to waste time cooking, and then I'm going to get started on reading Clap When You Land, and I will check in probably when I'm about halfway through that one too. Okay, so it is much later than I anticipated. It is about 5:30, 5:20 right now, and I just finished Clap When You Land. I would have finished it earlier, but my mom and my brother came over, and even though I told my mom that I was attempting this challenge today, we ended up just talking and talking and talking for probably 2 hours. So I did not get to finish by 3 like I was hoping to. I was wanting to do around 2:30 actually, but whatever. It is what it is, and I can probably read a couple other books a little bit faster after this, but we will see. I ended up really liking this book. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I thought it was so well done. I felt like it handled grief and betrayal and so much very well, and it was a really sad story. I didn't cry. I feel like it was just written so well, and these characters were so sweet, and they went through a lot, and I related to a lot of parts about the grief and just how sometimes it just hits you when you least expect it, or there's just certain things that you want to remember about the person that you're missing, and it was a really, really good story. I feel like it's one that I want to come back to later when it's not so fresh for me, because I think I walled myself off from letting myself get too emotionally attached to this one, but it was still really good. I really enjoyed myself, and it's probably one of like the most aesthetically pleasing books I've ever seen. I am going to go cook some pasta and eat dinner, maybe. I'm not really that hungry since I had lunch kind of late, but I'm going to go cook pasta, throw that in with the stuff that I had in the crock pot, and then I think I'm going to attempt to read Through the Woods right now and see how far I can get in that, because I would like to have 3 books done within the next hour or so, and then I think I'm going to pick up Dani Brown right after that. Okay, so I finished Through the Woods, and it was pretty cute. I think I'm gonna give it about 3 stars. It was spooky, the illustrations were really good, but it wasn't like the scariest thing I've ever read. I feel like if I would have read it when I was little, it would have scared me so much. Like, this would be like a really fun sleepover sort of story that you could read with your friends, but I don't know, it wasn't as creepy as I expected it to be, and some of the stories just didn't really make sense to me, and the endings were very vague, so I was just kind of like, okay, are we gonna conclude this anywhere? And there's a story in here called The Conclusion or something, or like In Conclusion, and I felt like nothing really concluded, but the illustrations are really what makes this worth it. So I am going to attempt to read Dani Brown now. I think that's going to be my next best step, and then probably after this I will try and start the Governess game just so I can get all of my March TBR picks out of the way and then see what else I can finish afterwards. Scribd has not taken away all of my audiobook options yet, so this is still an option, but I think after reading this one it's gonna cut me off. So let's see how this one goes.
And close the circle. You first, Sorsha whispered. Oh, darling, are you certain? Don't start. I know you're gagging to invoke something. That sounds doable. By the way, shouldn't you be asleep right now? Is that Probably. Shouldn't you? Danica. Working. This is my break time entertainment, so try to be more entertaining.
I'm about halfway through and I am loving this. I just have one question. Why are the best men always fictional? Like, where can I find one of these? Where can I find one of the men that Talia Hibbert writes? I need one because he's great. He's wonderful. This, I feel like I like him so much more than Red. Like, this is a good one. I'm in love with both of these characters. There's like nothing about them that I do not love, and I need Zaf's heart to be protected, so if things get a little rough, I'm not gonna be happy. I need everything to be smooth sailing, even though I know some sort of little drama problem's gonna happen. I like this a lot. Whew. Okay, so it is about 11:50 at night and I've been at this for, does that make that almost 13 hours? I think so, if I'm doing the math right. But I just washed my face with cold water so that I could wake up a little bit and attempt to power through just a little bit more. But this is when I went to bed last night and my body thinks it's bedtime because I'm old and I have bedtimes. So I'm going to try and power through for a few more hours. That was hard to say. But I did just finish Dani Brown and I ended up really liking it. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars, I would say. I was really loving it at the beginning. I really enjoyed Dani and Zaf. They are really great characters. The only thing that I would complain about is similar to what I complained about with Chloe Brown, is that the conflict just felt so out of character. I felt like in Chloe Brown and in this book, the two love interests have such good communication and they are very open about their thoughts and their feelings and their worries and stuff, and then by the time the conflict comes around, it's just kind of like, where'd that go? Where'd your communication go? And I think I just kind of got annoyed, and I'm a little bit tired too, so I was just a little grumpy with like, why did we do this? I honestly thought that she was going to just skip a whole conflict at all because we were super close to the end too, so the turnaround from the conflict was a little just, it was convenient, underwhelming, just kind of like, oh, okay, very cheesy. So I didn't love how things got resolved, but I did really like them as a couple. I really related to both of them on different levels, and I just thought that they were much more relatable than Chloe and Red were for me personally, and I do like the friends to lovers aspect of this, so I did really enjoy it. I might probably, in hindsight, bump it up in ratings, but I was annoyed with the conflict and how quickly that was solved. But I am now officially done with 4 books, and I think I'm going to try for the 5th. So like I predicted, Scribd did take away some of my options, so I can't listen to the Governess game or the Wallflower wager anymore on there until April. So the one that is still available is You Should See Me in a Crown, and it's about 7 hours. If I do it 3 times speed, that's what? 2.5 hours, so that'll put me around 1:30 in the morning. But I think I'm going to give this a go, and then if I'm not completely dead on my feet, I might try The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I'm assuming that once I go to sleep, I'm just gonna like knock out and sleep until probably 10 or 11 in the morning, so I probably won't be able to finish anything in the morning. I'm gonna go try and read this one, and then hopefully I will go to sleep. Yeah, I'm tired, but I will check in sometime. I don't know.
They currently found my face, I threw my arms around his neck. I think something was wrong and he didn't come back. Jordan, you missed everything this time. Gavin was right, you have a new dance for this year's house show. She said she's actually going to do it this time.
I think I'm gonna DNF this. It's not bad, I don't want to read about high school. Earlier when I read Felix Ever After, I felt like because they weren't in a high school setting really, they were more in a summer program, it was an art program, and it wasn't school driven. I was able to get through it a little bit more, but I just don't want to read about high school. It's cute, I'm sure, like everyone who has read it, I just went through some of the reviews, and all of the people I follow who have read it really liked it and said it was really good. It touches on some really good topics and everything, but I just don't want to read it. I'm about 80 pages in. I just keep zoning out over and over, and then I keep trying to like find where I was at and follow along, and I'm just not interested. So I think I'm gonna attempt to read The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse right now, and then I'm going to go to bed because I am very sleepy. Good morning. It is already 10:30 the next morning. I think I woke up around 8:30, but then I just laid in bed because I did not want to get up. I was so tired. My brain is overworked from all of the words that it took in yesterday. But my 24-hour readathon is done and I feel really accomplished. I am really excited with how much I was able to get through and how many books are now off my TBR, which is really exciting. I kind of want to do it again this week, but I don't know if I have time. I have a lot of other stuff I have to get done, but I know I'm probably going to do one when it's summertime, maybe a couple during summertime, because I'm going to be unemployed after this year. That's something I decided this year, that this will be my last year teaching for the foreseeable future, and I don't want to jump into a job right away just after everything that's happened. I just feel like I need some time off of work too, so I will be reading lots of books probably, and then also trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life after this year. But anyway, besides that, these are the books that I was able to finish. I have Felix Ever After finally off my TBR. It was the book that I was supposed to read for a DNF, and I think I gave this 3 stars. Then I read Clap When You Land, and I really like this one. This one ended up being a 4-star read for me. Through the Woods, really fun. Did I give this 3 stars? I don't really know. Wasn't as spooky as I anticipated it to be, but it was still a really good time. Holy moly, I'm so tired. Then I read Dani Bran and fell in love with Zaf, and I am really excited for the 3rd book now. Eve has not been my most favorite character throughout. She's just a little too quirky for me, but I've heard that the 3rd one is really, really good. I'm excited to read the next one. I probably should pre-order that, but I don't need to spend any more money on books right now. Then I attempted to read You Should See Me in a Crown and ended up DNFing it at 80 pages, and last night I was kind of feeling guilty about it, but this morning I just know I'm not gonna read this book. It's just not in an area that I'm interested in, so I'm okay with it now. I've come to terms with DNFing a book finally. And then I finally read The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I ended up not rating this one just because I feel like depending on when I read it, what frame of mind I'm going to be in, I'm going to get different things from it. There were 2 pages that I really liked, and I showed those last night, but I feel like if I read this next week or next month, there are going to be other pages that resonate with me more. So this is one that I want to reread time and time again and just find the pictures and the words that mean something to me. So I didn't want to rate this one just because I feel like it's going to be ever changing. So that means I finished 5 books, DNF'd 1, which means I can take off 6 books from my TBR, which means my TBR is 6 books less, which is such a relief, even though it's still in the 80s. So I need to do more of these is what I am realizing, but I don't really have another spring break coming up. I do have summer break, like I said, so I might try and do a couple of those then, or if I could squeeze one in on one weekend. I don't even know if there's any 3-day weekends coming up. That would be nice to get more books taken off my TBR. But that is all that I have. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe so you can join me on any future 24-hour readathons. And if you've read any of these books, please comment down below which one is your favorite or which one you haven't read but are now really interested in reading. I don't really know how to end these anymore. I'm a little out of practice, so I'm just gonna let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.